Phone addiction has become the default state of human existence, which is honestly pretty wild when you think about it. We've somehow convinced ourselves that constantly checking a device every 30 seconds is normal behavior. But here's the thing, nobody wants to admit. Breaking phone addiction is actually ridiculously easy, like embarrassingly easy. The problem is that everyone's doing it completely wrong. Answer this question honestly. When was the last time you went an entire hour without touching your phone? And I'm not talking about when you were asleep or in the shower, because apparently some people bring their phones in there too, which is a whole different level of concerning. If you had to think about that question for more than 2 seconds, congratulations. You're part of the club, the Phone Addiction Club. We meet every 12 minutes when we all collectively check our notifications for no reason. The issue isn't that phones are inherently evil or that technology is ruining society. That's what your uncle posts on Facebook while simultaneously scrolling through Facebook for 4 hours straight. The real issue is that we've been fed terrible advice about how to fix this problem. Everyone's out here talking about digital detoxes and putting their phones in different rooms like they're diffusing a bomb. But that's like trying to lose weight by hiding all the food in your house instead of actually changing your relationship with eating. Most people think phone addiction is about willpower, but willpower is basically useless. It's like trying to hold your breath underwater permanently. Eventually, you're going to come up for air, except in this case, the air is Instagram, and you're going to scroll through 17 different people's breakfast photos while questioning your life choices. The truth is, your phone isn't addictive because it's magical. It's addictive because it's been specifically designed to be addictive by people who are way smarter than both of us combined. These tech companies hire psychologists and neuroscientists whose entire job is figuring out how to make you pick up your phone more often. It's like playing poker against someone who can see your cards, knows what you're thinking, and also controls the deck. You're not losing because you're weak. You're losing because the game is rigged. But here's where it gets interesting. The same psychological principles that make phones addictive can be flipped around to make them less addictive. It's like reverse engineering a magic trick. Once you know how the trick works, it stops being impressive and starts being obvious. The first thing you need to understand is that phone addiction isn't really about the phone. It's about filling uncomfortable moments with stimulation. Think about it. When do you reach for your phone? Usually when you're bored, anxious, waiting for something, or avoiding something you don't want to do. Your phone has become your go-to solution for any moment that doesn't feel perfectly comfortable. This is why all the traditional advice fails spectacularly. Putting your phone in another room doesn't address the underlying issue. You'll just find something else to distract yourself with, or you'll eventually go get your phone because the discomfort of not having it becomes worse than whatever you were avoiding in the first place. The real solution starts with understanding that your brain isn't broken and you're not lacking self-control. Your brain is actually working exactly as designed. It's seeking dopamine, avoiding discomfort, and trying to keep you entertained. The problem is that your phone provides all of these things instantly and endlessly, which creates a feedback loop that's really hard to break using traditional methods. Most people try to quit their phone addiction the same way they try to quit everything else. Through restriction and shame, they delete apps, set screen time limits, and then feel terrible about themselves when they inevitably break their own rules. This approach fails because it treats the symptoms instead of the cause. It's like trying to stop a leaky faucet by putting a bucket underneath it instead of fixing the actual leak. The methods that actually work are surprisingly simple, but they require you to think about this problem completely differently. Instead of fighting against your brain's natural tendencies, you work with them. Instead of restricting access to your phone, you make your phone less appealing to your brain. Instead of relying on willpower, you create systems that make the right choice the easy choice. The key is to hack your own dopamine system instead of fighting against it. Your brain releases dopamine not just when you get a reward, but when it anticipates getting a reward. That little notification sound isn't just annoying, it's literally triggering the same chemical response as winning money or eating chocolate. Every ping, buzz, and red notification badge is your phone saying, "Hey, there might be something exciting waiting for you." And your brain falls for it every single time. So instead of trying to resist these triggers through sheer force of will, you eliminate them entirely. Turn off every single notification except calls and texts. I'm talking about everything: email, social media, news apps, games, even that weather app that somehow thinks you need to know it's raining while you're literally standing in the rain. Your peace of mind is worth more than knowing the exact moment someone liked your photo. But here's where most people mess this up. They turn off notifications and then immediately turn them back on because they're worried they'll miss something important. Spoiler alert, you won't. The second hack is even simpler, but way more powerful. Make your phone boring. Not grayscale boring, because that's just making everything look like a sad movie from the 1940s. I'm talking about removing the apps that are designed to suck you in. Delete social media apps and use the browser versions instead. The browser versions are deliberately worse because companies want you using their apps, so they'll be just annoying enough that you won't want to mindlessly scroll. Replace your social media apps with something useful, but not addictive. Put a calculator where Instagram used to be. Put a notes app where TikTok was living. Suddenly, when you unconsciously reach for that dopamine hit, you'll be greeted by the most boring app imaginable, and your brain will immediately lose interest. The third method is probably the most important. Create friction. Right now, using your phone is frictionless. You pick it up, swipe, and boom, you're in the endless scroll zone. But addiction thrives on ease of access. If you make something even slightly harder to do, you'll do it way less often. Put a passcode on your most problematic apps. Not your phone's main passcode, but individual app passcodes. Every time you want to check Instagram, you have to type in a 6-digit code. Sounds annoying? That's exactly the point. Most of your phone usage is mindless habit, and having to consciously decide to type in a passcode breaks that automatic behavior. You can also use your phone's built-in restrictions to limit app usage, but here's the crucial part. Don't set the limits yourself. Have someone else set them and not tell you the override password. When you hit your limit and the phone asks if you want 15 more minutes, you'll have to actually ask another human being for permission to continue scrolling. The embarrassment factor alone will cut your usage in half. The fourth technique addresses the root cause of why you reach for your phone in the first place. Most phone addiction happens during transition moments, waiting in line, walking between meetings, sitting in your car before going into a store. These micro moments of potential boredom are when your brain automatically reaches for stimulation. Instead of trying to eliminate these moments, fill them with something else. Carry a small notebook and write down random thoughts. Practice breathing exercises. Look around and actually notice your environment like you're a tourist in your own life. The goal isn't to be productive every second, it's to teach your brain that not every moment needs to be filled with digital stimulation. Look, breaking phone addiction isn't about becoming some Zen master who never touches technology. It's about taking back control so you can use your phone intentionally instead of being used by it. The difference between someone who's addicted to their phone and someone who isn't is simple. One person decides when to pick up their phone, and the other person's phone decides for them. These methods work because they're not asking you to fight your brain's natural wiring. They're working with your psychology instead of against it. You're not trying to become a superhuman with infinite willpower. You're just making the addictive choice harder and the healthy choice easier. It's like putting junk food on the top shelf instead of at eye level. You can still get it if you really want it, but you have to actually want it. The best part is that once you implement these changes, you'll probably realize how much of your phone usage was just mindless habit. You'll start noticing things again. You'll have actual conversations without the urge to check your notifications. You'll be able to watch a movie without scrolling through your phone during the slow parts. You might even remember what it feels like to be bored, which sounds terrible but is actually kind of nice. Your phone will still be there when you need it, but it won't be running your life anymore. And honestly, that's a pretty good trade-off. Now go turn off those notifications before you forget and spend the next 3 hours watching videos of people making tiny food for hamsters.